and Paladin. Saiyan actually just won the WESG USA Co-Ed Finals last weekend in Huntington Beach in California. And I'm wondering if his lineup is very similar to that.
Lose and go home, Cora.
Yep, winner continues on at 5-2, has to win out from here to have a chance at making the top 16. The loser is very likely going to be eliminated from that possibility. And actually, I did walk past Saiyan on the way back here after we received word on what the matchups on stream were going to be. And he was just grimacing, like smiling, but it was the smile where you're dead inside. And I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? He's like, did you see what they're doing to us? And I'm like, look, man, I didn't do it. You won last time, so just
do it again.
Just
do it again. We've got a good old-fashioned druid mirror. One of these druids is not like the other, however. And one of the druids has wild growth. The other one had to hero power. Fino being a good sport, saying, you know what?
Applause.
Applause, applause.
Wild growth on 2. You are a good druid player. Yeah, it's token for Saiyan. Fino's got the Malagos druid. Generally, token druid can struggle against other types of druid, but there is always the chance that Saiyan sticks Whispering Wood, Soul of the Forest. Fino responds with Spreading Plague. Saiyan gets over the plague, and then Fino just doesn't have a way to clear treants.
And we even see Saiyan there just going for the wild growth. It looks like he wants to get the Malfurion down as quickly as possible to try and put 2 kind of mid-range-ish threats onto the board, rather than just, you know, developing the Teacher, trying to get the 1/1s. Because if you go too crazy with the Violet Teacher, you can open yourself up to potential Spreading Plagues from your opponent. So I think that's the big nod that Saiyan was kind of going for there, and I really think he's trying to get this Malfurion down as quickly as possible. Malfurion just a very important key card in this matchup, as it will allow you to keep pushing the repetitive 3 damage over and over.
Very early Malfurion, the Pestilent for JustSaiyan. This is the earlier version of Token Druid. After Giggling Inventor was nerfed, there's no point to play Giggling Inventor plus Strong Shell Scavenger and Zardite Chain Gang, so we have reverted back to the Violet Teacher Open Summons package.
I think Saiyan's really happy here to see Fino just hero power for the past 5 turns. And Saiyan finds himself a Nourish for draw. I would not be shocked to see him do that, play the Arcane Tyrant, fit into hero power. Why not?
So Saiyan's found
some
very good Druid cards, and Fino has found some very good Druid cards that would be better 6 turns from now. And you can see Fino's laughing, but at this point, it's flashbacks. Rapid flashbacks of Dreamhack Montreal Finals where he thought he had it, and Saiyan ripped the victory from him.
Fino was like, do I really have to? Oh my gosh. How much burn did he just commit? That was one of those times on ladder where you just play cards when you know you're going to lose just to show your opponent what you had. Like, look how bad my hand was. Now, don't you feel bad?
You know what? I do remember Fino played against Galen on stream yesterday, and it was a Druid mirror where Fino had to play Malagos by itself, and Galen had to obliterate the Malagos. He moonfired it first to save 1 health, and that saved himself, and then he was able to Ultimate Infestation, and Galen ended up winning the game and the series. So Fino's not had an easy road to get to this point in the tournament. He's gone up against some heavy hitters.
Oh, it looks like Fino's to be very resilient with that Spreading Plague. He really doesn't want to use it on this kind of board state. Death Grip is not what he was looking for. Would much rather had something like a Death and Decay. That way he could go for a swipe Death and Decay play later on. Saiyan just instantly hovering over the Savage Roar, but calls it back, wants to take his time, make sure it's a lot. It is a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but wants to make sure it's enough to push through.
Token Druid has Whispering Woods and Soul of the Forest as a 2-card combination to build a big board out of nowhere. But when they're able to build a makeshift board like this and capitalize on it, that just means that the opponent is forced to use resources before the real power cards are even in play. And we can see a Cenarius at the top end for Saiyan as well.
It's one of those cards that was in the traditional lists, and then when the Strong Shell Scavenger and the Giggling Inventor list was developed, it got cut because it didn't quite fit the mold. But then now that the list is reverting back to Violet Teachers, Cenarius is just a perfect fit in there.
And especially against other druids, being able to buff your minions with permanent attack is huge. It is so much easier to get over Spreading Plague when you've got a bunch of, 4/7 Scarabs or something like that, 3/7 Scarabs. Fino does take that second Violet Teacher from Saiyan, but Saiyan is not worried whatsoever. He's just going to Cenarius for buffs here.
I love it. Cenarius is a very powerful card. Oh,
that's just the conceit.
Fino just said,
yeah.
You know what? You had Wild Growth. I didn't. You did Druid things. I did less Druid things.
I respect that very highly. Saiyan had the nuts. Fino had the opposite of the nuts. And you know what? Fino's going to write that one off. That's okay. Maybe we're going to see Fino go down to an 0-2 deficit and bring it back and win this series.
Oh, okay. That's what Fino's trying to plan here.
It's not grand finals. It's a 4-2 win and you survive to play another round series. Not quite as important, but the pride points that he would win.
Fino's like, I want you to know how it feels.
I want you to feel my pain.
To be honest, I think Saiyan might be just as frustrated as Fino.
I mean,
Saiyan is one of those players that wants everyone to be playing at the kind of level he is playing at. And
that's
then
not
when something
humanly
doesn't,
possible.
Yeah, I know it's not humanly possible for most people.
You can't do it.
But oh
Are
my
you
gosh,
Come on, man. Look at all that green.
I don't think I've ever seen more green in my life.
I was actually, I casted
just full kept.
Dude. I mean, Grizzly's insane against Token Druid. That's the Hunter's real big
That's the bread and butter.
showstopper. Stick a Grizzly, cube play dead it, get over my 3/12s. Which Token Druid can a lot of the time.
I think Fino just closed his. I think I saw him just like look down and close his eyes for a minute. Like this can't be real life. I do kind of like the full keep from Fino though. The MC Tech contests an early Whispering Woods. The Grizzlies are the bread and butter in this matchup. And then on top of that, the Spider Bomb can answer something like a Violet Teacher.
It is really important to have that early answer to Whispering Woods because against Hunter, the Druid can very easily just stick a Woods on 4, put 4 or 5 Wisps on the board, and then follow up with Soul of the Forest, and suddenly the Hunter's like, what do I do here? Finds the second Nourish, which he can afford to draw with, so Saiyan will ramp with the first Nourish, and now Fino knows there's either Ultimate Infestation in hand or there's second Nourish in hand to be able to draw cards.
Gonna be resilient and hold on to that Spellstone. The one issue Saiyan is gonna have here is Fino's gonna immediately go for this Coin Grizzly play. If he does not have an answer for this Grizzly will be cubed. And then Terrascale's waiting right around the corner.
And it doesn't look like Saiyan has a way to kill it. This is where you would need to have some Arcane Tyrants on the board last turn to be able to Savage Roar them and get over the Witchwood Grizzly. Saiyan does find Ultimate Infestation, however. But that doesn't deal 12 damage. And he's going to need several ways to deal 12 damage.
He had double Spellstone. He could try and do something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. This is just a gain 12 just to get a card out of the hand for Ultimate Infestation the following turn. Oh my gosh. If you thought it couldn't get any worse, you thought Saiyan's opening hand was good. Fino's full keep is leading him to this play right here.
I mean, Saiyan's opening hand.
4 Grizzlies on the board next turn.
Saiyan's opening hand was insane. But
sometimes it's just not enough.
The deck is not equipped to beat 4 3/12s with Taunt. Savage Roars and Branching Paths maybe in a world could do it.
You even see Saiyan there respecting the Witchwood Grizzly so much that he even kills off the cube.
Gotta kill off the cube. Saiyan might be able to deal with 2 Grizzlies. He cannot deal with 4.
Sometimes you can barely deal with 1. Then the whole family comes out.
Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear all reporting for duty.
Bear,
Baby Bear is the 3/7 in this case.
I think it's kind of like Goldilocks.
That was the reference, yes.
Deathstalker and the 3 Bears.
The death rattles are just right.
Death rattles are just right. This death rattle's too weak. This death rattle's too strong.
Yeah, things are actually looking a lot more doable for Saiyan here. This is manageable. He's built some of his own board. He has now Whispering Woods and Soul of the Forest with Spreading Plague and Savage Roar.
And that's what we saw Saiyan set up this play earlier on, where he set up the kill onto the cube because he knew it was going to be a worst case scenario.
I don't know that I ever would have made that play right there. Willingly kill off the cube, put 2 3-12s onto the board, but play around the scenario where you absolutely lose the game if there's Death Rattle activators.
I mean, if there's one Death Rattle activator, you're losing the game. And the odds of them having a Death Rattle activator is pretty high.
All right, Spreading Plague, Soul of the Forest. Pheno has Mind Control tech to take one of the Scarabs. Saiyan can very quickly turn this board into something much, much scarier.
Saiyan might just flanking strike a 2-2 just to get it out of the way. I mean, why not? You technically don't need that 3-3 body. Or he could just kind of sit and wait. Pheno's in a really good spot here.
If he loses this board, though, he does not have the necessary reload to build another one. Saiyan does. So that's what I'm looking at as potentially being the problem here for Pheno. Saiyan's got a second Spreading Plague, and he's got a second Soul of the Forest. This lead for Pheno, I think, is tentative at best right now.
You're not wrong. Saiyan picks up the swipe as well. It's going to allow him to clear up a little bit of the board. He might just commit one of these Savage Roars to try and clean up as much as possible.
I think that's absolutely fine. The Hunter's not going to be going above 35 maximum health with the 5 armor from Deathstalker Rexar. So Saiyan doesn't need both Savage Roars and both Branching Paths to win the game. Taking a look at some matches happening on the floor. Like we said earlier, Swaggy G 7-0. He's moved on to the next stage. Sintalal 6-1. Orange and Allen both 6-1. Sir Slim defeated Ike. He's now 6-1. Ike
I bet
is
you're proud of that
5-2.
one.
Hey, we like Ike. What can I say? Can't be too happy. Seo Hyun defeated Khazgar. I believe that means he's now, I want to say 6-1.
Seems a really impressive player.
And Gallon is 6-1 as well.
Wow, a lot of these names you will have recognized from the other championship tours, the other tour stops as well.
I mean, this is what I was talking about. Now look at the board. Looks a lot better for Saiyan than it does for Pheno. Yeah, the raw stats favor Pheno, but all of Saiyan's minions death rattle into something else. This is 2 boards that Pheno has to get through.
But once Pheno gets these 2 boards, the best board state Saiyan can make after this is 1-1s. Because Saiyan will be out of Soul of the Forests.
Yeah, but that still forces Pheno to beat a board of 1-1s.
Which he can definitely do.
Can he beat this board of 2-2s?
Eventually. It may take a little bit, but eventually.
I don't know.
Quickly.
A lot of trading going on.
Oh, they have to. This is an absolute trading game until one player sticks a board that is just going to end the game.
Cenarius.
Oh my god. Yeah, you ripped that.
This is just the perfect scenario.
And I will say,
Did you like that?
yes, very good. Wild Growth on 2 slightly better, but that was good. We appreciate the humor. I will say, I was casting the Hearthstone Collegiate Championships last week with JustSaiyan, and before rehearsals, he was jamming games with Token Druid on ladder. And I'm like, why are you playing Token Druid, man? That's not fun. You could be playing something else. I'm sure he enjoys it, but it's no Hand Mage. It's no Xerix Priest
what
on
is
the
Hand
fun
Mage?
scale. Oh, I'll show you. It's fun. And he's like, it's just the nuts. Why would I play anything else? This is the best.
There's a lot of players that firmly believe that.
It's looking like he was right.
It is definitely looking pretty solid. And Fino is just whiffing after whiff.
He needed Rexar here. That's not Rexar. Fino's out of this game.
Get about it. Get me out of here.
With two 312s from a cube that Saiyan was forced to kill to play around Terror Scale. Saiyan brings that one back, and that all goes back to Saiyan spell stoning that cube. If he had allowed Terror Scale Stalker to come down, there would have been 2 or 4 more 312s on the board, and he very likely could have not won that game.
A play as simplistic as giving your opponent 2 312s.
Saiyan just knows what to do. I don't think there's any other way to put it. Like, I have not seen him...
It's almost like he's good at Hearthstone.
I've not seen him misplay on stream, I think, since before Dreamhack Montreal.
He's just a legend.
Holy... Dude. This matchup's insane for the Token Druid in the first place. Spreading Plague is the best counter to an Odd Paladin. They are forced to go wide, you Plague up, they often can't answer
even
it.
misses his 1 drop.
Man,
This is brutal. Fino's got a long flight back home.
Greece is far away. The weather's a lot nicer there right now than it is here, though, so it's not all bad.
And Saiyan just looks frustrated at how strong he's drawn. For Saiyan, it's just like...
He's annoyed at his own fortune. I will say.
He's like, come on, Fino, you could have put up a better fight.
Saiyan, he doesn't have any emotion during these series. He doesn't make, like, any facial response to anything that his opponents do. He's not nearly that, like, solemn of a player, of a guy in general. Like, it's kind of weird.
In a good way.
In a good way, yeah. He's fun. He just doesn't, like, look like he's having fun when he plays Hearthstone, basically. He looks like he's miserable.
And the worst part about this is if you're Fino here, you want a hero power, that means, like, Void Ripper is not in the realm of possibilities unless you trade off one of the ones first, which means you wouldn't necessarily get all of the trades you're looking for. The level up is strong. But what's stronger is a spreading plague.
Plague into Soul of the Forest. But Saiyan doesn't get to play his Arcane Tyrant because his board is full of 7 1/5 Scarabs for 6 mana. Jeez.
Spreading Plague. That card single-handedly took out half of Europe.
Oh, okay. Second level up for Fino.
Okay, there's a little bit of
That's
hope
the
here.
card that beats Plague, other than Void Ripper.
And Fino's just savagely killing Scarabs. It wasn't even systematically.
This is the fastest I've ever seen him play.
It wasn't like the furthest one on the right. It wasn't the furthest one on the left. It was just like, I'll take this one on the left, take this one in the middle, take this one on the right.
Doesn't matter.
Get him out of here.
When I'm going.
I don't want to see him anymore.
I'm not sure why Fino's got a New York accent.
This is just still looking good for Saiyan here.
Yeah, proactively kill off these dudes. Don't let the second level up potentially push you out of the game here if you're Saiyan. I mean, this is still a heck of a turn for Fino, though. Double Corridor Creeper plus... He can Hero Power. Well, Hero Power is weak by itself. Probably double Corridor Creeper plus Fungalmancer. Do you put it onto the dudes or onto the Fungalmancers, though?
I think you put it onto the Silverhand Recruits, as they're the ones taking trades. It makes it a little bit more awkward for Saiyan to try and get through.
Teacher has to go through Recruit now, and then it dies.
He would need something like the second Savage Ore to efficiently get through.
Oof.
If you're Saiyan here, I wouldn't be shocked to see the trades come in. A Spreading Plague, double Arcane Tyrant. Oh, you can't play the Soul of the Forest as well.
Yeah, so maybe there's some merit to just Tyrant plus Soul. Because Spreading Plague is
well, if he was
going
to go for Tyrant plus Soul, he would have done it first.
He would have. He made the trades, but now he's thinking. And that worries me a little bit, because it seems like he might be changing his mind.
I think he's dedicating to the Spreading Plague. He's just trying to figure out whether he wants to trade off something like the Teacher first. Because if he doesn't trade off the Teacher, he'll get 1 less Plague token because the 1/1 will spawn first.
That's true. He does get both Tyrants down here, however. And now Saiyan setting himself up to be able to just end the game with Ultimate Infestation, Cenarius, Branching Pads, Savage Roar, a Nourish for additional cards.
Heck, even an Ultimate Infestation just to draw more cards.
Yeah, like half of his deck just wins him the game now. But Fino's still fighting. He's got second level up.
You got two at this
in
point.
play. Swipe's really good for Saiyan too.
Branching Paths, I don't think that's quite enough, but Branching Paths...
It's 19 with the hero power.
Looks like he's going to just draw some cards here. I don't blame him. There's a swipe. Whew. And I think that's basically it for Fino here. Don't think there's quite much that he can do.
He can swing with the Vine Cleaver, hero power. If he finds a Lost in the Jungle, that's probably his best draw to go with the level up this turn. And then that's 6 dudes.
I guess there is, you know, it does have the level up in the hand. There's still a little bit of room to play with.
I think he's got a shot. Even 4 dudes is really good.
Just feels so bad to commit it here.
I mean, this whole series has felt particularly bad for Fino. If he loses this game and this series, then he is pretty much eliminated mathematically from making it to the top 16 cut because his tiebreakers will be so rough, having lost 3 of the first 7 series. Nope,
Looks like
not
he's
going
not
for the
even
level
coming
up.
to level up yet. This would be weak to the second swipe. But Fino feels like he needs to take risks here. And the second swipe gets drawn.
Dude.
Oh my gosh, if you're Fino here, you're evaluating the next tournament you're going to.
I mean, there's not much to say about it. Saiyan plays perfectly pretty much all the time, but when your draws are perfect as well, it's just a storm that Fino can't weather. He can level up for 4 dudes here.
And the worst part about this is Ultimate Infestation
Just
is now
ends the game.
lethal.
But this isn't going to be setting up lethal for Fino most of the time. You know, a lot of Saiyan's draws here will just either save him or win him the game. That's not awesome, but it does allow Saiyan to clear up an additional recruit without taking damage.
There is the potential for a Blessing of Might out, I believe.
It would be 13.
Is Blessing of Might enough?
1 off.
It is 1 off. You could go Leroy, Blessing of Might, Divine Favor, second Blessing of... No, the other Blessing of Might got used earlier on in the game.
Yep.
Arceus Veteran.
Acarus Veteran, yes. Leroy, Blessing of Might, Divine Favor, Acarus Veteran.
The issue is, does Fino think he can win the game without going for that crazy line of play?
Looks like no.
He's going to go for it.
That's not it.
Did you see Saiyan's face? He said, please no.
Look, Saiyan, I'm not saying you've had wild growth on 2 and 4 every game this series, but you have had wild growth on 2 and 4 every game this series. If this was an Acarus Veteran off the top, that's justice. But no, Fino's got to trade.
I wish that Fino had done a little bit differently, putting the Blessing of Might onto the 1-1 so that he could up-trade with it just in case. That way he could preserve the Leroy and the 6-3, so there should be an extra Leroy on the board. If there was a Leroy on the board, he technically is still in this game because he could go...
Saiyan's at 21. Yeah, well...
Pop the headsets off, that's game over.
Not a lot of similarity